You're listening to the You Don't Know Me Yet podcast network.
Hey, you are tuned in to Two Gems and a Mic with hosts Tanisha the Diva Mahomes and Linda L.D. Dorsey. Just know, if we talking about it, you need to hear about it. Unwind and enjoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Gems and a Mic. I'm your girl, LD, along with my girl, the Diva. And we got our boy. What's up, Darren?
What's going on, ladies? How y'all doing?
We doing good.
Chilling. What's going on? Talk to me.
Just just lifing over here.
Life is lifing.
Yes, ma'am.
Lifing everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
So we missed last week. OBE, overcome by events. Life happens. Like we say, life be life. But we still want to touch on this NFL draft. We can't let that slip by. So my two, I call them my NFL experts. That's Tanisha and Darren. They more up on that than I am. So I'm gonna throw the questions out there, let them go at it, and then I'm gonna piss them off and say something silly. So right, ain't that how the show go?
Probably. I
we all hug and kiss and make up afterwards, so we good. So it ain't nothing but love. Ain't nothing but
always.
Love. Yeah, that's it. So let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about the number one pick. Good pick for Tennessee or not?
Yeah, the general manager for the Titans, of course, is the former executive with the Kansas City Chiefs who got that position right before the Super Bowl, and so he had done a lot of studying up on Cam Ward, and now while I'm not one who likes comparisons, from a college quarterback to Patrick Mahomes as a comp or anything like that, who's someone who was there firsthand while Patrick is came from a rookie to where he is right now. I'm gonna give them a little leeway on that. So, but for what they're looking for, I think it was a good pick and probably the right pick for them. So, hopefully it pans out for them.
Okay, Tanisha.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. Absolutely, I think definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a solid pick.
What do you think about the top five? The top five picks. Me personally, I think the teams went and got what they needed. What do y'all think?
I mean, the trade, getting for Hunter and what they got for Hunter, and I mean, they seem to be happy. I mean, they collecting picks again. I guess considering later on they got Shador, they probably could have had Hunter and Shador on the same team if they hadn't gone that route. But that wasn't the plan originally. So I think that they they're looking down the road. Again, the Browns are. They got Miles back. I mean, they have good pieces on that team. It's just that it's the Browns. I don't know.
He says the Browns. Wow.
Browns.
I'm kind of like Tanisha. I was a little. I knew that the trade went down literally during the owners' meeting that they came to an agreement. The only thing that would have sidetracked that trade would have been if Tennessee would have gone in a different direction and didn't draft Cam Ward. Then Cleveland would have drafted Cam Ward. But since that didn't happen, I was disappointed that they traded. I mean, for what they got, they actually, I think they fleeced Jacksonville, and Jacksonville, I guess, was more than happy to pay a king's ransom just to move up 3 spots for Travis Hunter, giving up their first for next year and swapping places with Cleveland, and as well as giving them a second-round draft pick for Hunter. But like you said, I would have liked for Hunter and Sanders to be on the same team together, but it worked out the way it worked out for all parties involved. And with the draft haul that Cleveland has for next year, they put themselves in position, if by some miracle that they don't have a franchise quarterback between the 2 rookies on their team, then they at least put themselves in position to possibly trade up or whatever to get the number 1 overall position for a quarterback of their choosing. If not, then they'll be able to surround said quarterback that they have right now on the roster with some additional weapons for next year. Or they could try to package one of those first round picks to the following year to try to get Jeremiah Smith. in 2027.
Okay. So we know the elephant in the room. We could go through
Well,
draft pick by draft. Go ahead, Tanisha. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, I think the Jags really believe that they, by doing that, I think they get, what they got from Brian Thomas Jr. last year. They're really trying to surround Trevor with some weapons, and I think that they think that if they can get him the weapons, that might just be what he need to get out of that, to get him over the hump. So I believe that the general manager said, "Hey, I'm going all in on you. I believe in you. I think I think you're our guy, and I'm gonna show you that I do. I'm gonna go up here and get you some talent. And if Hunter ends up being, as talented as we all think he is, Trevor will be in a nice position because he's got good receivers.
Yeah.
He's got a nice little setup over there right now. He really does. I mean, I think he got Gabe Davis from the Bills and stuff. So he's got something. I don't know that the Jags feel like they got as cheated as much as everybody thinks the Jags got cheated, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, I believe they kind of believe in their team and what they have and they're building. But that's all I had to say about that. I don't really
Okay.
think the Jags think they're in as bad a position as everybody else. They got ATN. They got some guys.
You think that the the Giants did the right thing picking who they did?
I mean, they traded back into the first round, so getting a quarterback along with Abdul Carter, I think probably works out for them. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be any higher than third place, if not last place in their division later on when the
Okay.
season begins. But I mean, it's an improvement for what they were looking for.
Yeah. I think they went and got what they needed. Yep, I definitely agree with that. I mean, we could go through the whole, but everybody's been through it. They beat it. It's a week or whatever. But I do want to bring up Shador Sanders. What do you think there? Do you think he has an opportunity working hard to get that starting position?
Well, according to the coach, I mean, all four quarterbacks are going to have the opportunity to win the starting position. I know Tanisha and I talked, I think, sometime during that weekend that, you got your wish. He didn't end up with the Giants, so I'm pretty sure you were happy or whatever. But
I was excited. I was
I,
excited.
I bet you
Yeah.
was. Saying God's going to punish you for that too. But
I don't know
God,
why.
God don't like ugly. That was very, very, very
Yeah,
rude
that
of
was
you.
honest.
Nah, it was. But no. I think he has a real good chance. Everybody talks about him making a team. You don't trade up and invest in that type of stuff, and with what he's doing, and camp hasn't even started yet for the rookies, which begins this weekend. With jersey sales, and the owner likes that kind of stuff. So um, he'll have a real good chance if he doesn't start at the beginning of the season, which is possible. I mean, you got Joe Flacco, who was there 2 years ago, that actually knows the
How old is
playbook.
Joe? Ain't Joe
He's
85?
40.
How old is
He's
Joe?
he's, he's
Oh,
40.
oh,
And
okay.
then you have Kenny Pickett, who they traded for. So I can see a scenario where both rookies make the team,
Mhm.
but they utilize in a trade perhaps one of the two veteran quarterbacks. But I think before the end of the season, Shadur Sanders will be the starting quarterback one way or the other.
Okay, I can see that. I can't argue that with that. Tanisha, what do you say?
I mean, if Shador ends up, I think it will be well at the end of the season. I think he will. It will be when all else has been exhausted.
Okay.
I believe that is going to be something that's going to come to him easily. To be honest, he's lucky to be there, and I hate to say it that way, but he's lucky to be there, and
Why
that
why do you say that?
because they
Expand
took
on
another.
that.
I mean, hell, they took another quarterback before him. It was almost like, well, good Lord, he done fell so low. What do we have to lose? If he ends up developing and being something, then maybe we use him as a trading chip. You don't even know what they want, but
What the
why not get
expectations
him?
are. Right.
This was a guy that was at, perceived to be a first round pick if you believe that to be true. So why not get him and hang on to him and hopefully develop him if you can, and then use him later if you don't want him, because you think you got your guy who you picked in front of him, if that's what you truly believe, and then ship him away if He'll have an opportunity to show off his goods in some of the preseason games. Unfortunately, it'll be against some. He won't have anybody out there really to protect him. He'll be running for his life.
So let me ask
I,
this. Let
I
let
don't
me
agree. Well, let me
go
put
ahead. Go
something
ahead.
on that. As it relates to preseason stuff, he just has to get the reps. I mean, and the question is going to be what type of reps is he going to get not only in training camp but in the preseason games. Now, again, depending on who they have or who the coaching staff feels like wins out as a starter in training camp, that'll kind of dictate how many reps because he and Gabriel will probably split starts between the first, second, or the second and third game, and playing with the starting lineup during those two games, and then switch off in the other half or whatever for those games. But I don't see a scenario where they use him as trade bait because whether you have the first or second round grade, the value that they got for him as a fifth rounder, would justify them keeping him because instead of you having to pay him $40 million by drafting him number two or whatever, you're only paying him $4 million. So if he ends up being your starting quarterback, you're saving $36 million. Now you will have to, of course, after 3 years, try to re-up him. Since he doesn't have that fifth-year option. But but I think because of the value, I understand and I see why they drafted him in the fifth round. Because if you had a high grade on him and you're getting him at this particular draft position and price, is
So,
really a win-win
so let me
Darren,
situation.
ask
you
you a
said
question.
something.
So let me ask you a
I
question.
think you're
How
gonna
did
ask
you
what I'm
just?
gonna ask. Go ahead.
Oh no, you asked it because I'm curious. Go ahead. You asked
You
Linda.
said that's one of the reasons money. Do you think that's it? That was. I wanted to get your take on it. Why do you think they held out on to the fifth round?
Well,
I mean, we've heard so much discussion about teaching them lessons, this and that, humbling and blah blah blah. What is your opinion for the reason that he didn't get drafted into the fifth round? That just we all got them right
well,
opinions.
just in hindsight, I do think that there were, he probably did have the bad experience with the New York Giants, but listening to one of his people on a Cleveland talk show earlier today, he just felt like Shador probably got comfortable in that meeting with the Giants because they had been recruiting him for almost a year, going to his games, and so
Right.
so I think he probably felt a little bit more comfortable and may not have put as much into that meeting that he probably did for other teams. So, and then just word probably just went around or whatever. And and look, and we all know some people really can't handle a confident young black male who happens to be rich because he's not like from a single mother that's poor and is in need or whatever to get drafted to come up out of the ghetto or anything like that. And so his bravado is probably what what some executives aren't used to or may not have been ready for. Because what I found out today, and literally I just found this out today, since January, now people talk about how much money he's lost from draft position, which is true, but can either one of you guess how much money he has accumulated just since January to today
I can
that
tell you,
he's
I don't
earned?
care.
That's not the
But go
question,
ahead.
Linda. I'm
No, I
asking you.
can't guess. I'm not even gonna take a guess because I don't even know. I
Okay,
don't even
well, how
know how
about
much.
you,
I don't know.
Tanisha?
I don't know
Probably
what
like
he's worth.
about 25, 30 million.
About $24 million, and so now that's his own money, not from his dad or anything like that. So
Good
so
for
what I'm
him.
saying is that some executives just look at that the wrong way. When you see because I can assure you, let's just say for the sake of discussion, Arch Manning comes out next year. All the stuff that you hear about Shadur or whatever, you're not going to hear the stuff. You're not going to hear that same stuff about Arch Manning. And Arch Manning has only started 2 games in his career at
I don't know
Texas.
why we always want to compare apples and oranges. You want to compare him to Arch Manning, and Arch Manning, like you
I'm
said,
not
he's
comparing.
only played two
I'm
games.
comparing the
He ain't got
situation,
his
Linda.
number retired. He ain't walking around with the big gold chains. He ain't doing all that talking about what he got and all that other shit. Stop. Let's stop. Let's compare. Talk about who we talking about. Let's not talk. But we talk about Arch Manning next year if he go into the draft. But it's always I get it. I get
So
some of the stuff,
what
but we
does
always want to
hold
say
on?
they're not going to
What
treat the
does
black man the way
hold on.
they
What
treat the white
what
man. That
does
ain't always the
Shadur
case.
Sanders wearing gaudy jewelry have anything to do with what he did on the field?
I'm just saying. I wasn't impressed with him. You talked about his numbers last year. I wasn't impressed with him. That's why I was glad that we didn't draft him. If I was impressed with him and thought he was a good quarterback, I'd have been like, get his ass. So I was never impressed with him. I ain't impressed with Arch Manning either because I ain't seen enough. But Arch Manning ain't got nothing to do with this. We talking about this kid here. You talking about his bravado, his
You
confidence, his
ask, hold
whatever.
on.
I
You
look at
asked
it.
me, hold on.
You
You
use
asked
those
me a
words. I use
question.
different words.
Hold on. You asked me a question. I'm answering your question, and I'm using a comparison about what we can expect for next year. Now, just because you don't like it, that don't mean it ain't right.
I ain't. We don't know what to expect next year.
Well, hold on. Well, first,
That's
hold
what
on, hold on,
you
hold on,
expect
hold on,
next
hold on,
year.
hold on,
That's what
hold on,
you
hold on,
expect next year.
hold on, Linda, hold on. I kind of got to go back to what you said at the beginning of the show. See, we get this fussing and fighting, and then at
Exactly,
the
we
show,
do
we're going to
because
be
you want
kissing
me
and
to
making
expect
up.
what you expecting next year. I'm not going to agree with that. I'm
Well,
not going to
I
acquiesce to
don't need
what
you
you're
to agree
saying.
with you.
So
I don't
I'm
need you to
just
agree with
saying,
me on that.
let's talk about what's going on now. You want to talk about what's going on, what could happen? Let's talk about
But
what is
but
happening.
to but to go back to finish up on it,
Tanisha.
I do. No. I do. I do think that those were some reasons as to why he may have dropped. But again, but for Cleveland, he and his father, I think they developed a good relationship with Andrew Berry, the general manager, obviously with the owner as well. The owner, they went out early to Cleveland a couple of times, and they've had dinner with him and stuff. So I think I think they built a good rapport. But again, going back to why he got drafted where he drafted, again, I just think that because he was still there and the value of what he
Okay.
brought at that particular position, I think it was too good for them to pass it because I think it might have been myself and Tanisha that talked about it. And I don't know if you and I talked about it, at least Linda, that I thought that if he wasn't going to get drafted by one of these teams that we thought Cleveland or one of these teams that were looking for a quarterback, I thought that a team like maybe Philadelphia
Hmm.
would have got him later on in the draft, whether it was the fifth or sixth round or whatever. Again, just because of the value, and you feel like you don't have to rush to put him out there. And you don't have to, because like some teams he can be drafted to where you don't have to feel like you're in a hurry or you're
Hurry
not
to
in
get him
any.
out there. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
what I'm
agree with
saying.
that.
So like,
I mean,
like
I, I say on
like
I
I
mean,
say
draft.
about him. Go ahead, Tanisha.
to be
Go ahead.
honest with you, I thought the Raiders were going to draft him.
I did too.
I did too. And I
I
thought, look,
mean,
I thought they would have number
but to
6. I
get back to
thought the
what I
Saints
was
would have got number
saying,
9.
you said you thought Dylan and Shador. You just done skipped all over the other boy.
Who?
Oh, boy.
It's more quarterbacks ahead of him on the depth
Oh
chart than
yeah, no, I did. I said I wasn't going. Yeah, I wasn't
so the
going to him.
reps.
Who do you want to
So
talk
the
about?
Hold
reps
on.
where I
Hold
think
on.
he's gonna get reps. No, let me finish. Where I
Go
think
ahead.
he's
Yeah.
gonna get reps at is because I believe the starter is definitely gonna be 40-year-old.
Well, that's what I said. No.
Oh, listen,
You
Tanisha,
think the
and
starter's gonna
I
be Flacco?
said
listen,
earlier,
listen.
Joe
No, no,
Flacco and
no,
Kenny
you're
Pickett.
not listening to what I'm saying. Because Flacco is experienced. They're not gonna need him out there busting his butt and wearing himself down at 40. I think he's gonna pick up some reps that he would not normally have picked up
That's what I
because of
said.
Flacco's age. That's not what you said.
I did. What I
That is
what
not
I
what you said. You
Tanisha,
said
hold on, Tanisha,
that it was just gonna be.
Tanisha. I was right here when I said what I said. What I said was they would know between Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett which one of them would be the starting quarterback, and then they would probably trade the other quarterback, and then during the preseason game. They would alternate who would start the preseason game between Gabriel and Sanders, and then flip.
So you saying Pickett gonna get traded?
I said
Pickett or
one or the
Flacco?
other. I said one or the other will be traded.
So you're
So
saying Pickett or Flacco is off? One of them's off the team.
Yes,
so what's Watson's status?
he's
He's he
he,
has
he's
it's out. It's that's
he's
looking a
going to be
rough.
Injured
PUP.
reserve. He's just gonna
No,
be IR.
he's going
I,
Oh
they're
pup.
going to put him on a physically unable to perform because
Okay. So
what they
pup.
can do is they can get insurance money for him along with cap relief if he doesn't play this year.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
and look, he needs to take this full year anyway. He needs to take this year to recover, be fully healthy, whether he's able to play next year for the Browns or any other team.
Okay. So before we go on to the the NBA playoffs. Tanisha, you was talking about some other quarterbacks. Or you talking about quarterbacks drafted?
No, I
What
was
do you
just
want to
saying.
bring up?
What do you think? Hold on. What do you think, Linda, about the quarterback that you all got, Jackson Dart?
I like him. I mean, I remember from last year.
You
I didn't
just
see him
like
that
because he
much
ain't
this year,
stop it.
huh?
You just like because he ain't Shador.
No.
That's
That's not it. I mean, I like who I think we got Wilson and we got James Winston. I didn't. Here's the thing. I know y'all think I dislike the kid. I don't dislike him. I want to see him succeed, and I hope he succeeds in with the Browns. I mean, he working out. He doing what he got to do. He got that pedigree in him, so he can do it. Now he got something to prove. I think he's
Do you
motivated.
dis-
He's really got something to prove. So I ain't gonna hate on him. I'd love to see him, but I'm not a fan. I'm not
I don't
jumping on
think
that
I don't
bandwagon. I'm
think
not
that
going
you
to get a
dislike
jersey.
the
I'm not going
kid.
to do this. I'm not going to do it just because it's Shador Sanders. So, but I ain't never bought a jersey anyhow. Every jersey I got been free. So,
I don't I don't think that you dislike him. I think that you are someone and as a coach and stuff, you don't like distractions. You don't like someone or something thinking they are bigger than the sum of
the
all his parts.
brand.
And that's where I think you have an issue.
and you've
Are
seen
you
that, Tanisha, through other discussions that we've had about a
that
lot
we've
of
had
things, and that's
exactly.
the way I coached. And
Yeah.
that's you can talk to any player that I've ever had. If you think you're bigger than the team, better than the team, or better than the game, then I don't have anything to do with you. And I've dealt with players like that, and that was one of the reasons I stepped away from coaching too, because that's where it became. And the parents were amping them up to believe that nonsense too, that they were bigger and better than the game.
But
So
what the reason why that to me, and I agree with you, that no one player is, and because I play sports in college, softball and basketball, and I'm going to tell you, I also find that a good coach can put an end to that. Like I
oh yeah.
don't feel like that. If it was Tomlin that he was going to run in there and be talking all out the side of his neck, if
Wait a
it
minute. Now
had
that
been
you
like
said
a
Tomlin, did
Belichick,
that? Wait a minute. Did that
I was gonna
surprise you
ask
that they
you
didn't
all
get
that.
it? You said Tomlin, and I know you
yeah.
said it for a reason. That surprised me?
Well, it really didn't after I figured they were all in on Aaron Rodgers
And yep,
because
literally.
Okay.
Aaron don't like people bothering him. He want
No, he
everybody
needs to
to
be in the
know that he's
darkness.
the man and that's it.
Right. He won't
So
be in the
I figured
darkness.
they were gonna make sure that he felt comfortable. There is no competition. You are the guy. Just come in here, run the program. Get the program running like you want it. They wanted him to be confident. I figured they were all in on him because there's no way in the hell you are telling me that they are putting all their eggs in their basket with the quarterback that they have on their roster. I'm not gonna call his name out because I ain't trying to dog nobody out, but who they had left on there.
Right, because they
It's
got rid of Fields and they got rid of Wilson. So I was like, what are y'all
it's
doing?
no way in the world that they
Yeah.
were rolling with him. Now he was the backup for a very long time, and I think that Tomlin feels comfortable that he can come in, he knows the system, and he's a serviceable backup.
Okay.
So that to me is why they kept him because I am gonna call his name because Mason Rudolph has been there. He was there for many years,
And where did he
and he
play
knows.
last year though? Because he wasn't with him last year, was he?
No, I think he. Oh, where
He
was
was
Mason?
Mason Rudolph. I don't remember.
He
Was he
played.
with the was-
I'm
Wasn't he with the Damn, was he with the Raiders?
I'm not sure. I know I know I saw him come out there for somebody, but we could go
I can't,
draft,
I
draft,
can't
draft.
remember, but the point is, we know that they didn't. Well, at least I would think that they're not. That is not their starting core. That Mason is going to be Aaron's backup once they finally
Absolutely.
sign Aaron Rodgers. The other thing was, I thought the Saints dropped the ball.
Oh,
I know that
that was
they,
another one. That was two, and I think even you could see the expression from the family as they showed them when those picks came up, and even the people that were commentating, like he ain't go
what is
there,
going on.
he ain't go right. What is this? What is this? So yeah,
Hmm.
You know, and I mean, and he was the Texas Tech, quarterback or whatever. And I mean, hey, no, I'm happy for the young man that he has an opportunity. But if I'm the Saints GM, there's just no way I'm picking him over Shador. Now that's my personal opinion, but good luck to him. I think that they probably know Derek Carr is healthy enough to play,
well
and that
he
yeah.
might be sitting out, right?
Well, he might be, but if
Okay.
that's what you're rolling with, I don't believe that. So I
Okay.
believe that Derek Carr is injured, but I think that they feel confident that that injury is manageable
Okay.
because I don't believe that they about to run out there retired.
Okay.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
And you
Unless they tanking.
Okay. And you made a statement and say
That's an
about the
expensive
way
tank.
I coach and my
Hell yeah.
style of coaching and what I thought about above the team. I don't know if that kid put himself above the team or whatever, but like Darren said, the bravado, the this, to that, there were certain things that turned people off. So I
Well,
don't
that's what I'm
know.
saying.
It would have been
That's the way I know that you think. But in my personal opinion, from what I've heard, he's not a problem off the field, but what he was flashy on the field, and sometimes that is just a turn off. The watch, rumors of his driving his car and getting it in the parking and handicap and getting the boot on it, and there were little things like that people find to be somewhat entitled. You know what I mean? You're just doing whatever you want to do, and I think that that's something that maybe Josh Rosen ran into. Remember when he had the hot tub in his dorm room, and people were like, he comes from money. He was spoiled, and it came across pretty bad, and they dropped him in the draft. And remember, he came back and he said that like 9 other teams are gonna regret that or whatever. And
yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
know where he is now.
Right.
He's probably back home in the hot
In
tub.
the hot
You know what I'm saying? But
tub. Yeah.
but those things sometimes come across as disrespectful because at the end of the day, when it's a dream, right? The dream is to get there.
Hmm.
You always have that dream or whatever. I'm gonna get there, and I think you're hungry and you're focused, and I know the kids now they wear the chains and stuff like that, but I think that there was just something about that particular family and that particular name, and that would be some flashing from his father from previous times, and now you got another generation flashing, and that even though personally I think the NFL should have been happy because when Dion was on that field, everybody was watching. They probably made more money when Dion was playing back in the day. The NFL, everybody was watching prime time, scoot and skip and catch the ball. So I mean, I have problems with that too because the Flash made them money whether they believe it or not. I bet if they go run them numbers, they'll see that Dion actually made them money when he was out there on that field.
For the
But that's
Cowboys.
neither here nor there. Yeah, shit,
For the
yeah.
Cowgirls. Okay.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll forget everything I'm saying. You start
I
calling me cowgirl.
I
I
know.
still,
I know.
I,
I want to say one thing before we move on to the NBA playoffs. My favorite, I don't even know his name. My favorite guy for the NFL draft was the guy that was cheering for everybody that got drafted. I don't even know his name. Do y'all know who he is? He was standing up as they all walked up. He was
it's
high
just a
fiving.
cheerleader.
Yeah, he got drafted, but he was happy for everybody that got
Oh,
drafted.
you talking about the football player? I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
somebody in the
Oh no,
crowd. Yeah,
he
no,
was a football player. His table just happened to be up front, and he was waiting on
he
him to come so he could
was.
high
I
five
think
him.
I want to say. I think he played for. Did he play for Ohio State? Because I know one of his teammates got drafted, and instead of going back with his family, he stayed out there with him the rest because he didn't get drafted the first night.
No,
So yeah, so his teammate instead of going somewhere with his family stayed with him the rest of the evening. So it wouldn't be awkward for him. But yeah, I know. Yeah.
but he did. He cheered for every person they called. He stood up, was high
And cheer.
fiving them as they walked by, just smiling. It was
Was
just a kid.
Maxwell Harrison?
I'm not
The
sure.
Maxwell Harrison that
Uh,
said Bills pick up win the NFL draft as ultimate hype man.
Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he was the hype man, and it was like just
that's
being
what's
there
up.
in the moment was a dream come true for him.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm talking
That's
about.
yeah.
Very few people experience that where you actually see your dream come to fruition. Like that is an amazing feeling. I've seen it twice in my family.
Yeah.
So
So I
my brother,
lied.
so my
I
nephew. It's an
did
awesome
lie.
feeling.
Yeah, and hopefully we see it 3 times because I lied. Said we was gonna move on
And
to the
that's what I was about to
NBA.
say because
So we pulling for Graham. Graham got that invite to the Chiefs mini
got it.
camp. So we
Yeah.
pulling for Graham.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. My nephew out there, he done caught a touchdown up here in this mini camp. So let's hope he
Darren, you need to get a Graham Walker I know you out there. You get you a Grand Walker
I'm gonna be
hoodie
the
or
first
something.
person walking around with a Grand Walker jersey on. If he make that team, I can't get to the store quick enough. Shit,
And don't forget me. Don't
I
forget
won't.
me.
You know I
All right.
always got you. All
All right.
right.
Let's move on to the NBA playoffs. Who want to start it off? First
You,
of all, let's go Knicks.
I know
If
that's
I could do a
you.
split, I'd do one. Cause last night I sure enough turned the game off, and then my sister called me and said, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Oh, we must have won."
She ain't no true fan. I'll let you know she ain't no true fan.
I can't.
Oh,
They stress me out. I am a
Uh,
true fan. They
oh no,
stress me
I
out.
thought
But
look, I think the playoffs have been okay so far. I mean, there's some disappointing. Look, I'm
okay,
not
what's been disappointing for you? Let's start there.
the way Golden State has performed. I mean, I know they start their season. I know they start their second round against Minnesota Tuesday night, but
Who
I'm
night?
well. I mean, I know we're recording. I'm trying.
Okay, gotcha.
But uh, but I got issue with the effort and the way Steve Kerr. Two of those games he essentially gave up during the first round, and I just don't like that, man. The lack of effort from time to time, and yes, while they did advance, you know. The way you come out, and I think it was either game 5 or game 6. You're talking about the effort wasn't there. Like, bro, what do you mean that this is the playoff? Like, what do you mean the effort's not there? So that says
Hmm.
something about either your coaching style or what you or the players. But I mean, they lucked up because they faced a team that was pretty much a young team who they were losing franchise last year. They got the number 2 seed, but you know, you try to do that against Anthony Edwards and this Minnesota team, you're gonna get swept. So
Ant Man.
yeah, so
mm.
so so so
Love
that
to watch
was
him play.
that was something that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Which again, we complain about these athletes, these basketball players, low managing, taking games off, and then you come to the playoffs and you're still playing that way. I got a problem, especially
So do
when
you think they could beat Ant Man and crew?
not in the 7 game series. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But and the fact that all the home teams minus the Timberwolves game that takes place on Tuesday night have lost so far, which is again, which is kind of shocking. But I do think Cleveland is on their way to splitting um, against the Pacers, and and I think come tomorrow night,
Boston gets
uh,
back.
I think Boston gets their get back along with OKC, and OKC probably shouldn't have lost that game. I think that was real crazy. The
I,
coaching is seeking fouling when Joker is on the sideline. Like, why are you fouling? I mean, he couldn't get in the game. Like, to let the play go on and just defend well. And
that
I
was a
don't know what OKC's
surprising
coach was
that was
doing.
a surprising loss to me that OKC, because I turned it off. I said OKC got this game.
Yeah, that's
They
what I was
started off a
thinking.
little slow, but then I was like, okay, now they rolling, they got the game. I was like, wow. And when I
And the
found out they
Boston
lost,
and the Boston game, I mean, to me, it's hard watching Boston play because again, I guess I'm old school. Just seeing a team chuck up 63 pointers, like if your 3-point shot ain't hitting, drive to the
go
lane.
to
I
the
mean,
basket.
Jason Tatum had too many wide open lane where you could have drove to the basket and dunked on somebody, scored two, but they want to settle for 3-point shots, and I mean,
That's their MO. They've done it in years past and it's cost them. So hopefully
yeah,
they make that correction.
I doubt it,
Um,
but
yeah. Tanisha, I mean, what you think?
I
I,
mean, I think the Thunder.
yeah.
I think they finna get back. When they come back. I mean, I think this is the first time that they really have had to even remotely play some basketball. To be honest with you, it's nice to see because that other crap wasn't about nothing. Um, I mean, I think Aaron Gordon is absolutely a monster, nasty. He out there doing his thing all the time. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
who's gonna
I
win. Don't
still
ask me early,
Yeah, I
but
still got OKC coming out of there. I want to see what Ant Man's going to do in this series. I don't believe Golden State can beat them either. I'm with you there,
but I'm
Tanisha
gonna
Rose, but I'm
watch it.
OKC.
But I'm definitely gonna be watching because I would love to see Golden State pull that off.
If they pull it off, it'll be
Yeah,
yeah.
I would love to see
I'd be
that
shocked.
happen.
Um, I did before we can move on. We're gonna move on to the WNBA. A couple of things went on, but I did want to just give a shout out to Coach Pop. Officially, stepped down the way he had to step down. Just watching him.
Respect the player. Oh my goodness.
The way the players came back and everything, but just watching them having to help him up. He's been through a lot. He's a tough guy, but he'll still be around the game. The game, I mean, that's his life. And just watching him, the coaching, and then they were showing last night his coaching tree, which is just amazing. It's just amazing. So, wishing him the best and better health. Go ahead, Tanisha.
No, and I'm before we get up in there, because I don't want people thinking that we skipping certain subjects and stuff like that. But I want to know y'all's feeling on the Justin Tucker situation, like Justin Tucker being
I'm
released.
glad you brought that up, Tanisha, because I didn't mean to skip it, and I have it as a note. I think when they drafted on purpose. They don't want that. The Ravens don't want that kind of cloud hanging over their head. It started off, it was one person. I think it's up to 7 now. Darren, correct me.
16.
16.
16.
Here's the thing.
16.
They didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. But the thing is, in the way they release them, they're saying it's football reason. They have to, because otherwise he can file a grievance and with the Players Association. So you say it's football reasons, and you can actually lean on that because of his performance for last season.
That was his worst year last year.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But to be quite honest, I mean,
by his standards,
but to be quite, I mean, I don't really care about it because, to be honest, the Ravens came off looking like hypocrites because of what they talked about the Browns when they had Deshaun Watson and all the throwback, all the grief they were giving them. Like how they felt like they were, they had higher standards. Like, bro, you had Ray Lewis and Ray Rice on your team. Like, what are you talking about, higher standards? But then when this went down, essentially the same stuff of Deshaun Watson, and you keeping them on, on your team.
I just thought it was a matter of time, and I do remember the number 16 now that you said it. Yeah, I just thought it was a matter of time. It kept coming up, and they really didn't even want to talk about it here because he's such a hero. But when I stopped seeing him doing those Royal Farms chicken commercials,
right?
He ain't been on one. He ain't been on no Royal Farms commercials. They pulled all of that. Whatever he was doing locally, he's not doing it. So that name, even though they're allegations, allegations hurt you.
I actually met his at the time. It was his fiance. She was such a nice lady too. When they were really young, I mean, he had a good life. I mean, he was loved. He loved up there in Baltimore. I mean, I lived there for 28 years though. 28
years. You talking about?
I ain't saying that.
You said the man had a good life. Like
she didn't put him in the ground, did she?
Yeah, like damn.
He known for his Royal Farm chicken. The minute they took my chicken commercial,
yeah. When I stopped seeing the commercials, I said, "He done. He done."
Yeah, and let me
for the chicken, man.
Let me say this about Pops because you kind of know we kind of switch back, but I like Pops for a lot of what he did, but but Pops is the reason why we got load management, and I'm not real happy about that because players used to pride themselves on playing every game, and now you got players finding every excuse not to play in an NBA game during the regular season, and it all started with Greg Popovich. So while while I'm Team Pop, saying for a social justice stand and how he represents people, there's some bad things that came from what he did. So.
You think it was because his players was getting injured, or what they was telling him, or he just thought you don't even care?
There was times for that, but also him sticking his middle finger up to the NBA to the league, like players, like they have a national game, and he's sending Tim Duncan and all them home, so his star players home on Southwest Airlines,
Yeah. Okay.
So that so he he's great coach, but
his legacy's gonna live. I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame and all that. But yeah,
some flags. You said flags, man.
Flaws, but yeah. Flags, flaws.
Okay.
All right, so we gonna wrap the show with I gotta talk about. I watched the WNBA this weekend. I got it on now. Let me tell you something. They out there playing like it's the playoffs, and I know these rookies. Um, a couple of them hurt my feelings because they got cut. The Sellers from Maryland, she got cut, but she wound up.
In
Atlanta picked
Atlanta.
her up. Yeah, Bree Hall got cut. I don't know if she got picked up yet. I thought she played well the other night, so I hope she gets picked up. There's been some injuries, me being here in Mystic Country. One of their first round picks tore her ACL, so it's. I mean, they playing ball, throwing people to the floor. It's like, is
Yeah,
this the championship or this
it's getting
preseason?
sticky. Yeah, it's
Well,
It,
I
getting bad.
sure. Hey, I hope they play at this when the season starts, so we can hit some of these parlays. You know what
oh
I'm saying?
man, it was crazy. But I'm gonna tell you, I watched Indiana play. Of course, now they played against the Mystics. That game went into overtime, and they played the Brazilian national team. And that team is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Tanisha and I were talking. I think between Indiana and, of course, Las Vegas is going to be looking for some get back this year. I think Las Vegas team might even be better than what they were last year, and that's saying, and that could be saying a lot too, knowing that they had Kelsey Plum and a few other players. But yeah, I think
Yeah, Asia played like she was playing the game 7 the
yeah.
other night.
And
So
shout out to Asia with her new Asia one or
Them
A1.
they
shoes,
sold
them
out
shoes.
quick.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you ain't have your alert, they sold out quick. I love the commercials that's out there. So we talk about entertainment corner or whatever. So if you want to go
that
out
was
there and Google
hey
that commercial, because that was produced or directed by
directed by
Malia
Malia
Obama. So
Malia
Malia
I
Obama.
just thought
Obama.
that
Yeah.
was, yeah, and they were all cool. They were cool, and just the way Asia's been going out promoting her stuff, and little girls are like, this is somebody I can look up to, and I say that we're talking about Asia because we're talking about the A1 shoe, but that's throughout the league. The league is really up, and like we say, we can put it on one person, we can put it on a bunch. Caitlin Clark has done a lot for the league. I mean, watching her play the other night, she's ready. She's rested and she's
Oh
ready.
hell
So
yeah.
that
I think
team,
she was
and
she
yeah, Kelsey
they
Mitchell,
showed her
they
shoot. They showed her shoot one day. She shot like 50 from 54
yeah, that's all.
threes.
I mean, I'm not saying that's
She
all she
was
I mean, she was passing the ball. She had assists and everything. But that team, that is a scary. That's a scary team. But like last year, I don't think I was paying attention to Minnesota. Minnesota was like, okay, pay attention. And like we don't have anything to prove. So even Chicago, I was watching Angel make some moves. She worked on some stuff. I know Lisa
yeah,
Leslie spent some time with her. So it's just
told you.
some people have just worked on their craft, and I'm like, if she could work on that footwork and do some things, and they've done it, I'm excited about the season. So
Yeah. Bree hasn't been picked up yet though.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on that. Somebody gonna get her. Entertainment corner, you watch anything exciting?
I'm always watching something exciting. I
What you
can't speak for
watching?
Tanisha.
Okay.
The Godfather of Harlem
Okay.
Okay.
is picked back up. I think The Shy is back on, but I haven't been able to catch the new season yet. I think it just started either this past Friday or this Friday coming up, the season. And of course, Power Book 2, Raising Canaan, or Book 3, Raising Canaan.
Okay. Tanisha, what about you?
Well, I know they said that the Handmaid's Tale is on. I think all women ought to maybe watch that. Look like we headed that way.
Damn.
You
And,
might
and, and let
want
me
to
say
brush
this.
up on your Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah,
We might be in trouble.
I
Good
don't,
Lord.
okay
Uh,
about that part, but I will say shout out to Queen Latifah and the Equalizer stuff. I think they had their last episode this past Sunday
yeah.
They
night, so
did.
that was a
Yep.
real good episode. And I think got about 3 episodes left of SWAT with Shamar Moore on CBS,
Oh,
which
that
is
one's
really
going off
disappointing
too?
because if you think about it, all the and I hate to say it, most of their African American led shows have been canceled. I think the only one Cedric Entertainers shows going on for one more season, but
Mm.
Damon Wayne's show got canceled after one
I
season.
didn't watch it.
The
Did you?
Equalizer.
I
Well, no,
shame
I
on
didn't get a
me.
chance. I mean, we got other things, but I'm saying, but there were certain shows where, like Equalizer and SWAT, because I had already watched every episode and been invested in them. I know how they were, and I know Papa's Corner, whatever it's called, or whatever. It was their first season, And but the problem that is that these networks move shows around, and when they don't have the same audience because you move it 2 hours later, you move to another night.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And so and then they use that to justify canceling the shows. And so,
Yeah, I hadn't watched. I got a lot of them that I got to catch up on. I got to watch, but I got two things. The Righteous Gemstones. If y'all ain't seen that, oh my goodness, on Max.
Okay.
I'm gonna send y'all some. The Righteous Gemstones. The father, what's his name from Roseanne? He's on there.
Oh Lord.
That show, that series is I don't even know how to explain it. You just gotta watch it. That's one to watch. And then I've been watching The Righteous Gemstones. I'm gonna send it to you, Tanisha. I'm gonna send you one clip of this food that's in there, and you're gonna say, okay, that's all I need to see. And then I've been watching a documentary. And the reason I'm watching the main reason I'm watching this documentary, I am curious about it. So it's called Investigation Alien. But a dear friend of ours, Vernice Armour, she's in quite a few of the episodes. So shout out to V. We're checking you out. So check that out. And it's very interesting. It's a guy that's been doing this for years from Las Vegas. And they've gone over to a couple of other countries and checked some stuff out. So yeah. That's it. That's what I'm watching. But The Righteous Gemstones, goodness, my sister turned me on to it.
I see Adam Devine, and I know he a whole fool.
He ain't even the one. It's the other dude with the big white teeth. You know who I'm talking about. All right. So closing thoughts. Darren, give it to me.
Well, I put it like this: the people of Cleveland better understand who and what they got in Shedeur Sanders. A lot of stuff that he's been doing. People are saying he's looking for attention. It's like they've been documenting what he's been doing since he was 6 years old. So he's always been having a camera following him around and stuff like that. And even when he doesn't, it's still gonna be cameras following that man around. But I can assure you, the same folk who talk about they hate him doing all this, the moment he's the starting quarterback and he's throwing touchdowns and he does that, I guarantee you they're gonna have a cutout of an arm, and everybody in the crowd is gonna be doing that. So
you know what? I hope he ends up being a great quarterback and all that good stuff. But you know what? I hope that he proves that he's just a great person and that all that stuff that they're saying is just not true.
Well, I think
we ain't gonna go down. Is that your? Hold on, Darren. That was your closing thought.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that no one's ever. I mean, he's never been in any type of trouble, or anything like that. So he's always been a quote unquote great kid. He's a great person. So I mean, I don't.
Go ahead. We don't know him.
Well, what I'm saying is,
I don't know that.
Okay, well, first of all,
I don't know that man.
Well, first of all, I mean, as much as his life has been documented since the age of 6,
messing with you,
I
know.
I
don't even.
But as much as he's been documented or life's been documented, I mean, he doesn't get in any trouble or anything like that. So I mean, I don't see any reason why he would at this point in time.
Tanisha, what you got? What's your closing thoughts?
I'm just hoping my nephew make this team here. He's grinded extremely hard. He's put in the work. He's extremely talented, and I want him to see his dream come true. So Graham, get it in. You're out there doing what you do, and I believe in you 100%, man.
I'm gonna send you that clip, or you clip it and tag him, and let him know we all pulling for him.
Absolutely.
And for me, mine is simple. People, be kind. It's free. Be kind. It's free. It's a lot going on, and you don't know what that person is going through standing next to you. So be kind, and you will be blessed. I do believe that. So until next time, folks, please be kind, be blessed. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Two Gems and a Mic. Be sure to subscribe and follow. Until next time, remember, be kind, be blessed. Peace.